Alright, we're ready to start steps 5 through 7 on the lab. So the first thing we want to do is step 5 here, which is power on the Cortex. And to do that, you'll need a battery, and you'll need to be able to plug that in. So to plug the battery in, you're going to turn around your Cortex, and the battery is over here on this side. It's right here. So we want to plug that battery in that spot. And then also right beside of where I plugged that in is the power switch. So you want to click that up, just slide it up like that. And now all the lights on the Cortex should be green. If they're not, your battery's probably not charged, so you'll need to get a new battery. So I'm going to turn that back around now. And once our Cortex is on, then we're ready to compile the program. So the next thing we're going to do is this step right here, compile and download program. So we're going to go up here to Robot and click the first one, compile and download program. The shortcut to that is F5, so you can always click F5 anytime you're trying to download the program. If you get this message that says your firmware is out of date, for right now click OK. If it causes major problems, let me know and we'll update it for you. But I clicked OK there. Now you'll notice that it opened this window down here. This is called a debug window, and it allows us to kind of manipulate our motors and our sensors without having to write a full program. But the problem is right now the motors tab and the sensor tab is not showing up down here. So that's the next step in the document, is to get those to show up. So to do that, come up here to Robot and go to Debugger Window, and then we want motors and sensors to be checked. So I'm going to check motors first, and now you'll notice all of my motors are showing up. Now I'm going to go to Robot, and I'm going to go to Debugger Window, and I'm going to check sensors this time. So now my sensors are also showing up here. So you notice all these tabs down here. I can click each one of those, and these are the two that I'm going to be using, the motors and the sensors. So that's got us past that step, and now we're getting ready to verify our motors and then just kind of record our observations on different things. So the first thing we're going to try to record our observations on are the motors themselves in port 2 and port 3. So if you come back to Robot C, and right here at port 2, what I want you to do is change that power value to like positive 127, and then also change it to negative 127 and see what happens there. So what you want to do now is just kind of play with the values beside of your power, beside of your motors in port 2 and 3. So you can plug in values anywhere from negative 127 to positive 127. So, you know, just play with some numbers and see what happens. I'm not going to show you everything, but I think you're supposed to record what's the highest number that will work, what's the lowest number that will work, and then also how do you reverse the motor. So play around with that and see what you get. And then once you do that, then you can have me come off and sign steps 5 through 7 for you. You also need to change the values on the flashlight. So again, change the values anywhere from positive 127 to negative 127. Again, do that in that debugger window. Just beside a flashlight, change that power. And then also do that on the servo. Start plugging in values. Figure out what happens when you put a positive 127 in beside of servo, which is there on port 9 right here. Again, always do that under the power. And then find out what happens when you do negative 127. So kind of play with it, record what you figure out, and then I'll come around and sign steps 5 through 7 once you get that finished.